Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to discuss integral calculus. In electrodynamics, we encounter different kind of integrals, among which the most important are line integrals, surface integrals, and volume integrals. So, we will discuss line integrals, surface integral, and volume integrals. So, the line integral, let let discuss one by one. So, the line integral. The line integral is an expression of the form integration from a to v vector dot dl vector. So this type of expression is called line integral. Okay, here v is a vector function. V is vector function. Okay, and dl vector is infinitesimal displacement vector. So this integral is carried uh, out along a prescribed path from point A to point B. Suppose that you are integrating some function along this path, okay, and A and B are the end points of this path. So the line integral is defined. Line integral from A to B is defined as v integration of v dot dl from A to B. So this integration is done over a prescribed path. So suppose you want to evaluate the integration of vector function v over this path, then what you need to do is you divide it in infinitesimal displacement. Okay, you can divide in many parts. Okay, so these are the points. So at each points vector function v have some directions, and dl, this is the length element. So at this is the length element of is means you can say that this is the infinitesimal displacement vector, means it is a displacement but infinite one, very small displacement. So it has some direction. Suppose at this point the direction of this vector is in this direction, and at this point it is in this direction. So the direction of dl changes from point to point. Okay, so that's why I have said that this is a infinitesimal displacement vector. Suppose you want to integrate v over this part, then what you need, you must have you need to take the dot product of the value of the function v at this point and dot product with the displacement vector dl, that is the distance between this point to this point, means the value of function at this point and its dot product with the displacement vector from this point to the next point. So in this way you calculate v dot dl at each point, and when you sum all these values you will get integration from a to v dot dl. This is your line integral. The simplest example of this type of integral is work done by a force. Okay, suppose F is the force, and because due to this force some object moves, then you take the displacement dl and take the dot product of force, and dot product of force with this displacement, that is f dot dl, and if you integrate it from this point to this point, okay, from a to b, let's call it from a to b, then this will give you the work done by this force from a to b. So this is how your line integral is defined. Now suppose you are integrating along a path. So this is this integration along a prescribed path. So your path may be like this. Okay, Your path may be like this, your path may be like circle. So if you are starting from here and going like this and again coming back to the same point, then this type of integral is called closed line integral. So closed line integral is denoted by putting a integral, by putting a circle sign of circle on the sign of integral. So the closed line integral is defined as v dot dl. Okay, and just I have put the circle on the integral sign to express it that it is a closed line integral. So ordinarily, the value of a line integral depends critically on the path taken from A to B, but there is an important special class of vector functions for which the line integral is independent independent of path. What I want to say is, suppose you are integrating from A to B, you are getting some value, but when you are integrating this at this path from A to B, this is one path. There may be another path, okay, that starts from A and inside B. There may be another path which starts from A and end at B, but okay. So in each case, the in value of this integral, this line integral will be uh, different because it is a path dependent, but for several vector function this may be path independent. Okay, so so, so the case in which it is, suppose if a force is if you are taking the if you are taking the force, suppose there is some force and you are evaluating along with this path and you are getting the same value, suppose this is the path 1, okay, and you are integrating over the second path, suppose this is your first path, this is your second path, and f vector dot dl is same, then you can say that this is path dependent, and this type of force is called conservative force. Now let's discuss the surface integral. So the surface integral, okay, surface integral is of the form v dot integral from v vector dot dA vector, means this is how the surface integral is expressed. Here again v is some vector function and here dA is infinitesimal patch of some area, okay, and this integration is carried out over a surface, okay. Here one thing is to be noted that dA is the direction perpendicular to the surface, okay. Now let's see how, suppose this is your surface, okay, and you are taking a small patch area, so this is your dA and the direction of dA is the perpendicular to this surface, okay. So if you want to evaluate you want to integrate this vector function over this surface, then you need to take the dot product at each point on this surface and then sum of all. So this is how your surface integral is defined. So this is a one type surface, but there may be another type of surface like a sphere, where you know that the surface is closed, means it closes a some volume, okay, it may be a like balloon shaped. So in that case, such type of, to denote the such type of integral, we just put a circle on the integral sign and call it closed surface integral. So this is your closed surface is here closed, here the surface is open, so this is your closed surface integral. This is how closed surface integral is expressed, and this is just a surface integral. Now let's next discuss volume integral. So the volume integral is an expression of the form, okay, of this form. So this is your volume integral. Here d tau is your volume element, okay. This is volume element, or you can simply say that this is infinitesimal volume element. In Cartesian coordinates, d tau is nothing but dx dy dz, okay. Means it is a infinitesimal volume element, and the dx is infinitesimal displacement along x direction, dy is the infinitesimal displacement along y direction, and dz is the infinitesimal displacement along z direction. So the volume will be is just dx dy dz. So this is called d tau is infinitesimal volume element, and here t is some scalar function. Note here that this line integral is v is here the vector function. In surface integral, v was a vector function, dl was also a have direction, dA also have a direction. So direction of dA is here perpendicular to the surface, and dl is along the increment. So this is how the line integral, surface integral, and volume integrals are defined, okay. So here v dot dA. So what is dA? So in Cartesian coordinates, so suppose this is x axis, this is y axis, this is z axis. Suppose this is your surface, okay. This is your surface. What I am saying, this is your surface. If you consider this as a surface, integrating some function over this surface, then if you take the smallest infinitesimal patch area, so this patch area will be dA vector, and it will be dx multiplied by dy, and its direction will be not along x and y, but it will be along perpendicular to the this surface. So direction of this surface will be, this patch will be along z cap. Another example may be, suppose this is some sphere, okay, and you take some patch on this surface, surface of the sphere. So the direction will be along r cap, okay. R cap is perpendicular to this surface, so the direction of this patch will be along r cap. This is how the direction is taken for surface. Now let's discuss the fundamental theorem of calculus, okay. Fundamental theorem of calculus. So like we have ordinary integral calculus. You know that if you are integrating, if it is a small, suppose f is some function of x y x, okay, f is some function of fx, and then the small change in f, df is a small change in f. Suppose you move from f, this is the value of fx, and you go fx plus dx, okay. Then df will be defined as fx plus dx minus fx, okay. So if you want to integrate this from point A to B, means df is, suppose this is line, okay, there are several number of points, this is your dx. So df is basically this much, okay, the function value of, so this is dx now. So df is basically the difference of the values of the function f at this point and this point, okay. So df can be written as f, this is f b minus f a, no problem. This is according, this is the fundamental theorem of calculus. You can also express it like that, okay. Df, this derivative, df by in terms of derivatives, okay. Suppose you are changing dx, means you are integrating it, this function along this path, okay. So df by dx and multiplied by dx, you can express it this one, and it will be also it should also be equal to fb minus fa. Okay, and suppose there is some function f which is nothing but derivative of df by dx, so you can express it as f, the function of x, okay, dx is equal to fb minus fa. So this is your fundamental theorem of calculus. So the fundamental theorem of calculus tells you how the integral fx, uh, how the, so it tells you how to integrate fx whose whose derivative is equal to f. Okay, so if f, you are integrating f, and if you know the derivative of f is capital F, so this is how you can integrate. So this was how the, this was about the fundamental theorem of calculus. Now you know that in vector calculus, this is ordinary derivative, but in vector calculus there exist three types of derivatives. One is gradient, okay, second one is divergence, and third one is curl. And each type of derivative have fundamental, they have their own fundamental theorem. So let's discuss one by one. So first I am discussing the fundamental theorem of gradients. Fundamental theorem of gradients. So I am not going to prove it, okay. With the help of fundamental theorem of calculus, I will just write it. So you know that if t, x, y, z is a scalar function of three variables, okay, then starting at some point a, if you move a small distance dl, okay, then the function t will change. Okay, if you start from some point and move a small displacement dl, okay, here dl is the vector, so the change in function t will be given by dt, and it will be equal to gradient of t dot dl vector. So where I had introduced you about the gradient, we have already discussed that this can be, the small change in t can be written as like this. Okay, so you can write dt as tb, integration of this can be written as tb minus ta, and in place of dt you can write in terms of their gradients. Okay, gradient of t dot dl vector is equal to tb minus ta. So this is your fundamental theorem of gradients. So here, like the, let me repeat it again, so you have might missed. So here you know that if t, x, y, z is some function at some point, t by x, y, z is the function of three variables x, y, z, and if you move a small displacement dl from point a, okay, then dt can be change in t can be written as gradient of t dot dl. So if you want to calculate the change when you move from point A to point B, it can be written as uh, integration of dt from A to B, and this will be equal to Tb minus Ta. So you know that dt can be written as like this, so you can write it here. in terms of their gradients. Gradient of T dot dl is equal to Tb minus Ta. So this is the fundamental theorem of gradients. So the fundamental of theorem of gradients, like the ordinary fundamental theorem, it says that integral, okay, here a line integral, because we are taking the infinitesimal line element. So here the line integral. So it states that the integral of a derivative of t is given by the value of the function at the boundaries b and a. So after fundamental theorem of gradient, now let's discuss the fundamental theorem of divergence. Fundamental theorem of divergence. So fundamental of theorem of divergence is also called Green's theorem, okay, Green's theorem, and sometime it is also called Gauss theorem. Okay, so fundamental theorem of divergence states that integral over a volume of the divergence of some vector function v over a volume v, okay, is equal to the v vector dot v integration of v vector dot v vector dot dA vector over some surface. So this is your fundamental theorem of divergence. So fundamental theorem of divergence states that the integral of a derivative over a region is equal to the value of the function at the boundary. So here in this case, the integral of derivative is here divergence, and you are integrating over a volume v, and this integration is equal to the boundary, equal to the value of the function at a boundary. Here the boundary is surface, okay, this surface bounds the volume, so this is the boundary of the volume. So like the fundamental theorem of divergence, there also exists a fundamental theorem of curl. The fundamental theorem of curl is also called Stokes theorem. It states that integration over surface of curl of v dot dA is equal to the closed integral over the path of closed integral of v dot dl over a path, okay. So it again states that integral of derivative over region, over some region, here the region is surface, is equal to the value of the function at the boundary. So here the boundary is the perimeter of any of the path. These theorems, these theorems are very important because we will frequently use these theorems in electromagnetic theory to at several places. And here you see that here the volume integration over the volume is converted into the integration over a surface, and this is your Green's theorem, and here integration over surface has been converted into the integration over a path, and this is your Stokes theorem. So at many places we change the surface integral into the volume integral and surface integral into the path integral. So we change it in accordance with the this theorem. So these theorems are very important